Time Boxing USA on War of Week Radio.
Guys, I tell you what, welcome to War Week Boxing. What a special treat we have for you today, guys. And I tell you what, all the way from the UK. And because this gentleman always introduces everyone else and never gets a formal introduction, I'm going to do it tonight with my best Lupa Contreras voice. Introducing the fighting pride of Chicago, Illinois, now residing out of San Antonio, Texas, the Chi-Town Hustler, Thomas Treiber.
That was
Thomas.
Fantastic, Joe.
Yeah. So
Oh,
how's
my
the
goodness.
UK treating you, brother? I tell you what, you've been a busy man this week, and we have enjoyed every part of it. Is it as fun as it looks, or is jet lag kicking you in the pants right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. Thank you, first of all, for having me on. Always an honor. Of course, the time difference can be challenging, but the excitement of this event, the adrenaline that runs through you for these big time fights and shows like this, it just keeps you going. It's just so exciting to be here and be even just a small part of it. So the fans here have been great so far. We had our grand arrivals on Tuesday. Yesterday, we had our media public workout followed by 3 fights that was thrown in, and it's been great.
Oh, man, I tell you what, it looks amazing. And guys, once again, if you haven't been keeping up with the festivities from the UK, London, England, shame on you guys. It's been a spectacle. And I tell you what, we started with the grand arrivals, on Tuesday, correct?
Yes, we did the grand arrivals on Tuesday.
That was incredible, Thomas.
What a great atmosphere. We did it outside at a very historical type place where there's been a lot of movie premieres, similar to what we did with the Los Angeles event at the Chinese Theater. They have one of those type of places here in London where they do movie premieres and so forth. So a perfect place to roll out the carpet, do the grand arrivals, and the fans certainly came out to support.
Yeah, you know what? And once again, LA is traditionally a big boxing city, or it has been anyway. But Terrence Crawford, once again, he's one of the best pound for pound fighters in boxing. You can't take anything away from him, but he is not the level of attraction that someone like Anthony Joshua is. And I'm sure that was made apparent to you this week at the grand arrival on Tuesday. I mean, goodness gracious. It took him almost 15 minutes from the time he arrived to come and do the interview with you guys. And boy, it was absolutely incredible. Talk about the difference in the reception from LA and then London.
Well, LA was special in its own way. Of course, we had also former heavyweight world champion Andy Ruiz, who is from California.
Oh, yeah.
He had a great following there for that event. Isaac Cruz, a lot of the fans came out to support him in California.
Oh, yeah.
And we had that special performance by Eminem, of course. And Terrence Crawford, he's not from California, but there was a lot of fans there to support him as well. So, California was certainly special, being the first Riyadh season event in the United States. But certainly Anthony Joshua is a bona fide superstar. And one of the things I've been very impressed by him, first of all, very nice guy, very friendly, and he is very cordial to his fans. You saw yesterday at the grand arrivals him on Tuesday, I should say, taking photos and signing autographs. And even when the cameras aren't rolling, I've seen him around fans, and he really embraces it and appreciates their support. And I guarantee you on Saturday night, with 96,000 people packing
Oh,
Wembley Stadium.
gosh.
It is going to be loud.
Woo! Hey, no pressure, Thomas.
You're making me nervous, Joe, when you say that.
I tell you what, brother, I don't know how you do it, to be honest. And what is this? Your 6th or 7th Riyadh season event?
It's my 6th Riyadh season event. Yep. And it's just only getting bigger and better every show we do. Of course, this the first show in England with Riyadh season, but they're bringing with them all the bells and whistles. You saw, if anybody watched yesterday, the open public workouts that we had, they actually had a Buckingham Palace replica built inside of the Wembley Arena for the
That's
entranceway
ridiculous.
of the fighters, which was, I'll tell you what, Joe, TV did not even do it justice. I mean, in person, when I walked in, my jaw dropped. It really looked like Buckingham Palace placed inside of the arena. And it just gives it that even more big time feel when they put that type of effort into the production.
Oh, my word. And I tell you what, we've got a great card, guys, on tap. Once again, it starts off the event, Mark Chamberlain versus Josh Padley. Wow. 2 lightweight undefeated prospects. And then, oh my gosh, right into Joshua Buatsi versus Willie Hutchinson. Wow.
I'm looking forward to that
WBO
fight.
light heavyweight. Now that's a great fight. That is a great matchup. And Josh Kelly, once again, 2 highly touted prospects, Josh Kelly versus Ishmael Davis. Then the new champ, Anthony Kasachi versus Josh Warrington, the old warhorse. And then Hamza Shiraz, the phenom at middleweight, 20-0. Oof. Facing Tyler Denny, and then the big main event, Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dynamite Dubois. Talk about this card. I mean, because honestly, for $20, this is absurd. Like honestly, there's no excuse not to purchase this thing, guys. $20. Now, can you talk about, have there been a lot of noise and a lot of talk about Turkey Al-Sheikh, His Excellency, slashing the price for this across the board? Have there been a lot of talk this week about that?
Well, I know over the last few weeks, the price reduction has been big talk amongst boxing fans. And I think it's great. I think it's a great idea. Obviously, with the evolution of streaming sites and things like that, people buying pay-per-view seems to be on the decline. And of course, a lot of people are watching it in other ways without having to purchase it. So, yeah, I hope that lowering the price will encourage the great boxing fans out there to order it. And it's making it a little easier on their wallet to watch great boxing. And we will see what happens.
Yeah, guys, once again, we strongly urge you to financially support your beloved boxing. It can only help the health of the sport in both markets, the USA as well as the UK. And boy, what has that crowd been like? And how's the reception been over there, Thomas? I'm sure you're viewed as a rock star over there too, brother.
Far from it, my friend. Far from it.
Oh, the voice of modesty.
No, you know what, Joe? I've said it many times. The fans here in the UK, they really show so much enthusiasm. They really get behind their fighters. I mean, who can forget the great support Ricky Hatton got? Even when he would travel over to the United States, I think there would be, 10,000 Brits, traveling over to support him. So,
yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what, when the fans get behind a fighter here in the UK, they come out in the droves. And you're going to see that, especially with one of our fighters, Josh Warrington from Leeds, England. I did his first world title fight against Lee Selby when he won the IBF featherweight title. And It was at Leeds United Stadium. If anybody saw that fight, sold out. And those fans, from what I've heard, and I think it's around 10,000 of Leeds fans are going to be at Wembley Stadium to support Josh Warrington, who now a former 2-time IBF world champion trying to become a 3-time against Anthony Kakachi from Belfast, Northern Ireland. What a great story, there with Anthony Kakachi. Now holds 2 titles, the IBF and IBO. Now the IBO title, I'm sorry, the IBF title will not be on the line though. It'll just be an IBO World Championship fight. Not exactly sure of the reasoning behind that, but the IBF title will not be on the line. So just super excited for that matchup.
Wow, yeah, that is a great fight. And Anthony Kakachi, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yes. Yep.
Very
Kakachi.
good. Well, you would know, brother.
I've said it a few times.
Outstanding. But Anthony Kakachi, once again, he really made a big splash and raised a lot of eyebrows, turned a lot of heads by stopping Joe Cordina to win the title. And we're expecting big things from him. But Josh Warrington, the old man of the division, does he still have one great performance left in him?
Well, we will find out on Saturday night. The one thing about Josh is he's staying at the same hotel as I am here, and he stays in great shape. He looks great. He's been there before. He's been on the big stage before. So this is, nothing new to him. And he's still dangerous. He's still a dangerous guy. So Anthony Kakachi knows what's in front of him. And from my understanding, Anthony's also in great shape as always. And I'm looking for a really good fight there.
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking for a great one as well. And once again, just like we stated earlier, we also have Joshua Buatsi versus Willie Hutchinson. I can't, this is a pick'em fight, Thomas. I mean, honestly, could the winner of this fight potentially face the winner of Dimitri Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev? Because let's just face it, it's not going to be Canelo, right? Let's just be honest. Not going to be Canelo, brother.
No, most likely not. It is for the vacant WBO interim world light heavyweight title. So a big opportunity for these two fighters to take their career to that next level. And of course, Buatsi, 18-0, 13 wins by knockout. He currently holds the British Championship. And then you've got Willie Hutchinson, 18-1. He's got a WBC Silver Championship. They're both coming off, of course, Buatsi undefeated, but Hutchinson coming off some great wins. His last fight was in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, on the 5 versus 5 card. So he's got a lot of confidence. He's in great shape. So a big fight for these two young fighters. And like I said, the winner will be taking their career to the next level for certain. Not against Canelo, but they will be in a bigger place.
Oh, don't make me laugh. Canelo Chingao. Are you kidding me? Oh, dude. Someone would have to pay him an awful lot of money to get in the ring with one of those crackers again, brother. Let me just say, let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat. Our brother JD Spades. Welcome to the show, sir. And thank you for supporting Thomas on this day. He says, Joe, that impression of Lupe was spot on. Well, look, thank you, my friend, but it pales in comparison to my brother Double T's impression of Jimmy Lennon Jr. Would you guys like to hear that again by popular demand? Let's hear it. Thomas, come on, brother. Dazzle us, my friend.
Once again, Joe putting me on the spot here in London. All right, here we go.
Friends for, brother.
All right, I'll give it a try. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you as we welcome you to a great night of boxing action live from Wembley Stadium in London, England.
That's ridiculous, dude. Holy cow. That is like the greatest Jimmy Lennon Jr. ever, man. Like, I thought I did a pretty good one, but you know what? I'm almost embarrassed to do mine again, man. Dude. No, seriously, that was like is it real or is it Memorex?
All right, Jimmy's here with me in the room. I'm kidding. He's right next to me. Jimmy, say hello. No, I'm just kidding. No, I appreciate that, Joe.
That was amazing. That was amazing, Thomas. I tell you what, man. We want to welcome Hawker Mustang. Welcome to the show, sir. Yeah. Thank you for supporting Thomas on this day. He also says this. Joe, most Americans are broke these days. Always an excuse, my friend. No, there's no excuse, brother. Just don't eat out at your favorite fast food eatery because that's all it costs. Like a meal at Five Guys is more than this pay-per-view. Okay? No excuses, brother. No excuses. And we want to thank our brother Refugio. Thank you for supporting Thomas Treiber on this day. And he said, Thomas, your thoughts on Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren being fake mates?
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, you know what? Look, boxing fans, myself included, none of us ever thought that we would see Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, coming together the way they have. But I think it's great for boxing. I mean, the 5 versus 5 that we had a few months back, where it looks like we may be doing another one coming up. Matchups that boxing fans would never, ever get to see. So say what you will about their relationship, but they are working together and making it happen, and it's only going to benefit the boxing fans.
Well, I tell you what, Eddie Hearn, in the immortal words of Ricky Hatton, oh, you know what? He's going to be gutted if Eddie Hearn does not get the victory finally and get off the snide in this one. If Daniel Dubois beats Anthony Joshua, boy, he is absolutely going to be gutted, my friend.
Well, it is a very, very intriguing matchup. Everyone I have talked to is just on pins and needles. No one knows what's going to happen. But when you put two big, monstrous heavyweights like that against each other, I think whoever lands the first big punch, that could possibly decide the outcome of this fight. And, one thing about Anthony Joshua is he's a very good starter. Early starter. We saw what he did against Francis Ngannou. Dubois, not known to come out of the gate quite as fast. But with that said, when that leather starts to fly in there, it's going to be very interesting. I just can't wait, Joe.
Oh, boy, I tell you what. And once again, guys, it's the heavyweight division, the true theater of the unexpected, where anything can and often does happen, guys. And did I hear correctly where Daniel Dubois said, yeah, I'm going to headbutt him. I'm going to come in with my head, and you know what? Don't be shocked if my head cracks him and I knock him out with my head. Did he say that, brother? Or was I just hearing things?
I missed that, Joe. So I can't. I can't say.
Nice one, Thomas. I'll tell you what. Let's say hello to let's finish saying hello to our dear friends at the chat. Andres, good of you to join us, my friend, and thank you for supporting Thomas from South America. And he said, "No, I'm sorry, from Portugal." Wow. Good evening, Joseph. I finally got the chance to watch your show live. Greetings from Portugal. Greetings, brother, and thank you for supporting Thomas on this day, my friend. Good to see you. And always the eternal optimist, our brother Jose Chavez. Just pay Canelo $150 million and pay Crawford $2 million. That's fair. Okay. Chihuahua. So what are you trying to say, Jose? And Mateo Filipino. Thank you for joining us, my friend. We appreciate you joining us, brother, and supporting Thomas on this day. Look, Jose also says, Canelo's the last pay-per-view star in the USA. Crawford is a flop, and Gervonta needs Ryan. Wow. So, you have anything nice to say about anyone, brother? Thank you for supporting Thomas O and being here. My brother, Anthony Manzano from Florida, he said, I read somewhere recently when Ricky Hatton would fight in New York and Chicago, the fans that would mainly come to the arena, which shocked me, were Welsh and Irish. I don't know about that, brother. He's got a huge following from Manchester. I can't imagine that they were predominantly Irish and Welsh, but hey, I think he brought everyone over from the UK because from what I was told, they didn't have enough seats at the MGM Grand to accommodate all of the British fans. Because my brother James Gogi had a fighter on the undercard, and I think total there were almost 40,000 British fans that showed up to cheer their man on, and they had to watch it scattered closed circuit at other casinos. That's how popular Hatton was and still is. But thank you for supporting Big Double T on this day. And my brother Big Luke from New York. And he says Double T, WWE.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what. Do you smell? No, I'm kidding. Have you noticed that The Rock kind of sounds like President Obama mixed with Marvin the Martian?
I have thought that before. He's got a little bit of a Barack Obama in his delivery and the way he
Where's
speaks.
your FEMA money? Yes, we can.
Wow. That's a good Obama right there.
Oh, Chingo. I don't know how that happens. It just magically comes up, I guess. My brother, Eric Gomez, thank you for supporting the brother, Double T, on this day. And I tell you what, let's... Guys, if you have any questions for our brother, Double T, please just let him fly, okay? We appreciate you being here. And Anthony Manzano once again says, Thomas... through your possible Hall of Fame career as a ring announcer, who was your favorite fighter to announce to the ring from any division? Wow. Good question, Anthony. Thank you, brother.
That is a really, really good question. There's been quite a few names that I've really enjoyed, saying throughout the years. It's funny. One of the fighters on our card, actually Saturday night, Anthony, the Andy Town Apache Kakachi. That's been one of the that's I put a little more into it in the ring, but that's been one name I've really enjoyed recently. Of course, Nick the Cannon Ball when he won.
You know what?
His
That's
world
pretty
title
cool. Yeah,
in
Nick
Riyadh,
Ball's
Saudi
cool.
Arabia.
That's a great one.
But of course, Tyson Fury, getting to do several Tyson Fury fights. That has been, a real treat and honor for me. Here is the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. And I know.
So, I'll tell you what, guys, I swear, it's almost like seeing Metallica and then hear them play Enter Sandman. That's what it's like hearing Thomas do it live right now on the air. Isn't that great, man? Holy shnikes. That is amazing, brother. And I'll tell you what, my favorite nickname, though, of all time has to be the Hispanic causing panic. Juan Lescano. That was actually that nickname, the Hispanic causing panic. That was actually derived by our mutual friend, matchmaker, Robert Tapia. Can you believe that?
Interesting. That is an interesting nickname. Never heard that one before.
So wait a minute. And once again, another fighter who was a light heavyweight, I think, from Louisiana. He was Adam Swamp Donkey Richards. That was another great one also.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the best nicknames are always the ones that rhyme a bit with their last name. And it definitely makes it a lot of fun to say all these interesting nicknames, and I appreciate the kind words, Anthony.
I'll tell you what, and it's undoubtedly you are one of the elite now, brother, and the official voice of Riyadh season, and all of this is well deserved. And I'll tell you what, you've been working hard all week. What now? Be our eyes and our ears. What did you see, and what were your takeaways from that media workout? Did you get to see any edge? Did you see anything? And do you think it's a bit unusual that Don Charles is not there yet for Daniel Dubois? And do you have any idea why, sir?
I do not. I did hear that today at today's press conference. That I don't have any knowledge of. But, with these public media workouts, most of the guys these days, they do it, it's more of a media thing. They don't really get in the ring and show too much in there. So it's really hard to really gauge where they're at through a media workout. But They all look to be in shape. Tomorrow is the weigh-in, so we'll see if everybody makes weight. And, one of the good things is for our heavyweight fight, we don't have to worry about anybody making weight, but everybody looks to be in great shape. Everybody knows the magnitude of this event. It's the big stage, and they know they need to come in at their best. So the media workout yesterday went really well, and just looking forward to seeing everyone in the ring on Saturday night.
Well, let's just pray that Daniel Dubois does not get it on early with Anthony Joshua right there at the weigh-in, because tempers are going to flare, brother, with all that crowd, that massive crowd expected to show up at the weigh-in, and it's always an event in itself. Is there going to be a load of security, brother, at tomorrow's weigh-in?
Oh yes, yeah. One thing about the fights here in the UK, they are very big on the security. So there will be plenty of security there. I don't think we have anything to worry about there. But certainly, once they weigh in, the shirts are off and they're facing each other, and they know that they're 24 hours away from the big fight. That's certainly when you're going to start to see that testosterone level really rise. So hopefully nothing crazy happens, but I don't think it will. I'm just super excited that we're getting closer and closer to that magical day of 96,000 people anticipated at Wembley Stadium, which will be a new record for Wembley Stadium and British boxing history.
Yeah, according to Turkey Al Sheikh, it's official. It's sold out.
Unbelievable. Hey, and let's not forget, if any Oasis fans are out there listening.
Oh, that's right.
They will be performing as well. So a nice little musical treat before the main event as well.
That's outstanding. I tell you what, I know people are going to probably flog me with a cane when they hear this, but yeah, I'll take Oasis over Eminem any day of the week. Thank you very much. Did I just say that out loud?
Joe.
I was just supposed to be. Well, I know we're old guys. So what happened to some Blue Oyster Cult, brother? Come on now. Woo! Or how about, since we're talking UK, how about some Queen with Paul Rodgers, or Bad Company, or how about a Zeppelin reunion? That would be amazing. Or you know what? I hear Iron Maiden is on tour. It doesn't get any more British than that.
Hey, AC/DC, they're still out there too.
Oh gosh, they sound great. But I tell you what, let's get back to boxing, guys. And Mateo, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you once again for hanging with us and supporting Thomas on this day. He says, who is Thomas's favorite and least favorite current ring announcers? Look, you can name me as your current least favorite. If that'll make you feel better. I'll take it, guys. I'll take one for the team. But go ahead. Who is your favorite outside of yourself? Or did you just give it away in the outside of the show with that perfect impression?
Well, look, I admire anybody who ever has the guts, including yourself, Joe, to put on a tux and step through those ropes. It's not as easy as it looks. And I give a lot of credit to anybody who gets in the ring and does it. And, like I've said before, when it comes to ring announcing, it's one of those things where not everybody's going to like your style or perhaps your voice or even the way you look. Some people like vanilla ice cream. Some people like chocolate ice cream. So if you like vanilla ice cream, that doesn't mean that chocolate ice cream is not good. It's just that's what you prefer. So there's a lot of really good ring announcers out there. And that's why I always feel very fortunate to be in the position I'm in, because we're all replaceable in this world and in this business. And I'm just very thankful to be in the position I'm in. But look, I mean, besides the greats like Michael Buffer, of course, and Jimmy Lennon Jr., there's the Lupe Contreras, who Joe does a spot-on impersonation of. Of course, David Diamante does a great job. Joe Martinez.
Oh, absolutely.
He does a fantastic job. There's a Michael Williams, who's been around for many years as well.
Gosh, yeah,
he was with Bellator and been around the boxing scene as well for years. So we're all veterans. We've all been around, the sport for many years. And I enjoy all of their work. I think they're all fantastic. They're all professionals. and they all deserve to work at a high level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And want to welcome to the show Team Batman Boxing, who's going to be in attendance this Saturday. I love it. Hope you have a great time, brother, in the midst of 96,000 strong at Wembley Stadium. That is absolutely incredible. And thank you for supporting Double T on this day. And Anthony still wants to stay on the music thing. Thomas, since you brought up Oasis, are you more of a Peter Gabriel era Genesis fan or a Phil Collins Genesis fan or Genesis fan? Which one? That's tough.
That is a tough one.
Now you can say push if you can't decide, brother.
I'll tell you what, though, I've always liked Phil Collins. I got to admit, I've always been a fan of his. So if I had to pick one there, I probably would lean to Phil Collins.
Oh boy, and I tell you what, I'm not going to do it right here, but I do a mean impression because I'm a singer. I do a mean impression, and I've sang in cover bands that have actually done both Phil Collins as well as Peter Gabriel.
All right, well, we'll hope to hear that someday.
No, I'll show it to you. Not here, though, brother. Not here. Dude, we'll go out and sing karaoke when you get back from the UK, which is not going to be until November. Is that right?
No, actually, I'll get back to the States in mid-October.
After the Beeville event.
Yes. Yeah, the way the schedule played out, we've, of course, this Saturday, the 21st, we've got, the big fight at Wembley Stadium. Then we've got a press conference that we're going to do here in London, I think on the 24th or 25th. So I'll be opening for that press conference, staying for that. And then we've got October 5th in Liverpool. Nick Ball defending his world title. That's going to be a homecoming for him, being from Liverpool. That'll be his first world title defense, and in his hometown of Liverpool. So that's going to be super exciting. And then after that event, I'll be going straight off to Saudi Arabia for the Beeville W.A.W event.
Wow.
So this is a 1 month trip for Mr. Treiber here.
Oh, you poor thing.
It's a rough life, Joe. It is a rough life.
Oh, I'm telling you, brother, but someone's got to do it, right?
Man, I couldn't feel more lucky, Joe, to be honest with you. I feel very fortunate and just really glad to be here.
Well, I will say this. You are very fortunate. You are very blessed, but it is not luck, my friend. You've grinded this thing out, and you have been in this business for 4 decades now. I don't want to make you feel
Joe,
old,
I'm not that old. 3 decades, Joe.
No. Let me just say 4 different decades, right?
Correct.
That's it. That's what I meant by that.
That is true.
In 4 different decades, and how the business has changed. But one thing. Well, let me ask you this. No, I sound like Barney Fife right there. Well, let me ask you this, Andy. No. I'm just. Jeez, man, where did that come from? But anyway, so what is the thing that you think, aside from the obvious piracy, what do you think has changed the most since you started in boxing? And I'm talking about the business end of things.
Well, I think there's a lot more opportunity now with the evolution of the internet. I think there's a lot more opportunity for fighters to be seen and be known, where, back in the day, there was only a selected few cable channels, to appear on national TV or be on a worldwide televised event. And I think that's great. I think that's been very good with exposure. Of course, when I started, HBO and Showtime, that was the big deal. If you made it on HBO or you made it on Showtime as a fighter, you were, at the top of your game. So I never expected HBO and Showtime to not be in the fight game anymore.
Yeah.
So that certainly has been one of the biggest changes from when I started, but that's life. Things evolve, things change. And I think now we are seeing, with the involvement of Saudi Arabia with boxing, I think, again, boxing is going to be seeing a change in the way it's being delivered. We're seeing now these incredible events that they're doing with Riyadh season. And I think 2025 is going to be a very interesting year for boxing fans and people in the business.
You know what? That is an amazing point, because a lot of people, including myself, have noticed the change in popularity in the American market. Obviously, it hasn't skipped a beat in the UK. My word, you could argue that it's never been this big, with two behemoths and two rock stars like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. I don't know if it's ever been this big in the UK, but in America, despite going from a mainstream powerhouse, then 40 years later, it's somewhat of a niche sport. But you know what? That's a very good point, though. Since the advent of the internet, since the streaming apps and platforms, I don't think we've ever had this many TV dates. Because do you remember, Thomas, when we were just coming up in the business, we didn't get the opportunity to see this many UK matchups, or matchups in Germany, matchups in Australia, Japan. We never got the opportunity to see this many foreign events. But now, yeah, you can circle it on the calendar and look forward to it as just part of the calendar. And I think that's incredible. Thomas, you know what? That's a very good observation. And are you hopeful that America can catch up to the level of popularity that the UK still embraces?
Well, absolutely. Of course, the big difference would be in the United States. We've got baseball, basketball, football. Those have been, the sports that the Americans mostly embrace. And then, boxing kind of falls down the list a bit, where in the UK, boxing and soccer and the other sports they have here, but boxing's more at the top of the list. And it's a much smaller country than the United States as well. We always have to keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. But I certainly hope that boxing continues to get bigger and stronger in the United States. And, especially, I live there, and it's always great to perform where you live.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And once again, we've got to put the boogie on, because let's get to some of these questions, because yeah, it's almost in 20 minutes. It's going to be, no. In 1 minute, it's going to be midnight where you are, my friend. So
11. It'll be 11.
11. My apologies. But yeah, we're running out of time. And yeah, Double T needs his beauty sleep. So let's do. Hi, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you very much for supporting Thomas on this day. Says, Thomas, how long have you known Frank Warren?
Well, thank you for asking. I have known I have known Frank Warren for 7 years now. I've started working for Queensberry Promotions 7 years ago. And when I did ironically, it was this month in 2017 that I did my very first Queensberry Promotions job. It was at the Copper Box Arena in London. And I met Frank Warren there for the very first time. And what an honor it is to work for a Hall of Fame promoter, all around great guy. They have been nothing but good to me. Him and the entire Queensberry staff have always treated me so well. And I'm very, very thankful to be part of Queensberry.
I tell you what a quality organization. And you said it, Frank is one of the best in the business, the Hall of Famer for a reason. Oh, and I tell you what, he's boy, I can't wait to see him gloat over Eddie Hearn once again. Did I say that out loud? I was only supposed to be thinking it once again. Mr. Lance Meyer, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting Thomas on this day. Yes, War Week Boxing Radio with Double T, Thomas Treiber, Lance Meyer from St. Paul, Minnesota. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, hello, St. Paul.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We love it. Let's see. I love this. This is a great question, man. We got some great questions from our extended family. Want to thank W.A.W and welcome to the show, sir. And thank you for supporting Thomas. Says, Thomas, who are your 3 favorite fighters currently and of all time?
All right, Larry, that's a very good question there. When I first started watching boxing and when it really caught my attention in the late 80s, it was Mike Tyson. every fight he fought, it was not if he was going to win. It was how quickly is he going to win. And to this day, I don't know if there's ever been a more intimidating and menacing fighter than Mike Tyson in his heyday. So Mike Tyson for certain in my top 3. If I go way back, even before Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. I mean, he was very captivating. His charisma. I've watched a lot of videos on him. Just a very, just a great story there. And what a great fighter he was. And during a very difficult time in our country, to be in that position, and always admired and loved Muhammad Ali. I've even got a few T-shirts, Muhammad Ali T-shirts. Current fighters, I mean, gosh, there's so many fighters that I really enjoy to watch fight. Wow, that's a really tough one for me. Of course, I'm with Queensberry Promotions, and Tyson Fury. I did his pro debut.
Wow,
I
that is something.
Yep, I did Fury's pro debut in Nottingham.
Back when he was with Hennessy. Yep.
Correct. That was December of 2008 at the Trent FM Arena. It was the opening televised bout when Carl Froch fought Jean Pascal. And Carl Froch, a great fighter, always been a big fan of the Cobra. That's when he won his first world title. World title was that night that Tyson Fury made his pro debut. So big fan of Tyson Fury's. As long as he's still fighting, he'll always be, as far as a current active fighter, he'll always be at the top of my list.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, because I'm so objective, you guys will never be able to guess what my 3 favorite current fighters or of all time are ever. Yes, I'm that good of a journalist, and I'm completely objective, and you guys would never guess in a million years. So there it is.
You're not going to tell us?
No.
Okay.
Are you kidding? Never, man. Well, I will. Chingao, now you put me on the spot there, brother. I will say this. And my 2 favorite fighters of recent memory, and they're both retired. One because of my Emmanuel Stewart connection, but primarily because how they handled their business both inside and outside of the ring. 2 of the greatest ambassadors this sport has seen in a very long time, and they're pure class. And you couldn't meet 2 nicer gentlemen, even though they're very menacing and very intimidating in person. And they're brothers, Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko. Wow, I had the pleasure to meet both of them. And you know what? Just because of how they carried themselves, their philanthropic work, they're true humanitarians, and just class inside and outside of the ring. Just like they are 2 of the greatest ambassadors you will ever see in this sport ever. And just
smart,
the way they
educated guys as well.
Yep. Dr. Eisenfaust. I love it. But you know what? That's why. And it has nothing to do with what goes on inside the ring. And I'm sure you have stories like that as well, Thomas. Because you know what? Vladimir and Vitaly, just the way they represented our beloved boxing. That's what you hope everyone would do, right?
Well, I think it's key for, fighters to be professionals, and inside and out of the ring, be a professional and respect the sport back. And it's always nice to see that when you see people like that.
This is a great question, and we've got so many. Let me just run through these questions because they're so good. Our brother Rasheem Brown, welcome to the show, sir. It's good to see you, and thank you for supporting Double T on this day. He says, Thomas, can you tell us, why does David Diamante have to say the last name twice? Why does he do that? And what does that actually mean? Can you tell us the origin of that, Thomas?
Well, Rasheem, back in the day when ring announcers, and I'm talking, back before we had these great sound systems and all these arenas and so forth, they had to really scream loud for the fans to be able to hear the ring announcer. So back in the day, the ring announcers used to say the last names twice. So it's really a throwback to the way ring announcers used to do it many years ago. And from what I understand, they said the last name twice so that the fans, so that they could be certain that the fans heard the last name. But I think it's pretty cool. I think he's one of the only ring announcers that I can recall that says the names twice. There was a ring announcer back in the day as well named Mark Bureau, who used to do USA Tuesday Night Fight shows and ESPN.
He was great. Yes.
He was a really good ring announcer. And I believe Mark said the last names twice as well. He had a bit of that throwback style to his ring announcing. And I think that would be the reason Dave does it, is it's kind of a throwback.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, it looks like we're running out of time. I'm running out of juice here in my computer. Darn that my terrible adapter. So let's try to get to as many questions as possibly can. I'm Beto, my brother in Christ. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for supporting Double T on this day. So Joe, show Thomas your Teddy Atlas impression. Brother, my brother Double T has heard pretty much all of them, including my Don Knotts for the first time today. Wow.
And Teddy Atlas is here, by the way. Teddy was at the press conference. I didn't have a chance to say hello to him, but Teddy Atlas is here in the United Kingdom.
Hey, don't forget to remind him to put bugs on the windshield.
That's unbelievable, Joe.
Hey,
so good.
So Mateo says, Thomas, are you going to be in the new Undisputed Boxing video game?
I am not. That would have been really cool to be part of. And I know, what were they thinking? How can they have a video game without me? You know,
but, exactly. The voice of Riyadh season. Come on now.
No, but hopefully someday I will.
Well, I tell you what, we hope so, because you would bring class to the video game. I tell you what, you know what? And that's a very good question. I don't even know who's going to be the ring announcer on the video game. But let's see. Oh boy, Anthony Manzano, Tony, thank you for sticking with us, brother. Thank you for supporting Thomas. He says, of these three Hall of Fame fighters, Thomas, which one would you want to announce? Roberto Duran, Esteban de Jesus, Foreman versus Ali, or Foreman versus Frazier?
Holy cow. Well, I think for me, I respect all of these fighters. Of course, Roberto, the Hands of Stone, Duran, Frazier, one of the greats. Yep. But I think to be able to say that I ring announced a Muhammad Ali fight would be probably one of the coolest things I'd ever be able to do. So if I was to ever have that opportunity, it would certainly have to be Foreman versus Ali. Great question, though.
And I tell you what, let's bring this up because I want to announce this on the calendar coming up. Anthony Manzano says, once again, he says, Thomas, did you ever announce any Golden Boy fights or Tito fights?
Never did a Trinidad fight, but I have ring announced several times for Golden Boy. Back in like the 2008 range, I think 9, 10, around that time, they were doing quite a few ESPN shows. And I was honored to actually work several events for Golden Boy Promotions.
Well, I tell you what, you've got one coming up in November now, don't you?
That is the plan. November, the first Golden Boy event in Saudi Arabia. So it is a Riyadh season show. And from what I understand, I'll be part of that great event as well.
Oh, that's outstanding, brother. Outstanding. I tell you what, we're running out of time. Let's hope that my computer starts charging, but looks like we're running out of time, brother. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you're asking me this question. Did Thomas ever work at the Grand Olympic Auditorium? No, that was closed down, I think, before he ever was able. That was back in the Don Chargan days. Do you remember the Olympic Auditorium in LA?
Oh, yeah. Historical venue. A lot of great fights there. I know the great Jimmy Lennon's dad was a regular there. Even Jimmy Lennon, I think, spent some of his early years as a ring announcer doing shows there at the Grand Olympic Auditorium. So a very historic place for, boxing in California.
Well, look, I've got to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to everything, guys. It looks like we're going to have to shut down. But Double L says, of current announcers, I hold Thomas and Lennon Jr. as the top 2 best on my list. Great voices.
Wow.
You know
That
what,
is
brother?
quite an honor, Larry. I appreciate that. Even to have my name in the same sentence as the great Jimmy Lennon Jr. is a very big honor.
You know what, brother? I would concur, my friend. Thank you, Double L, for saying that. And Jump 2, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting Double T. He says, is it looked down upon the announcing community if an announcer tends to scream their announcements? Double T, what are your thoughts about that? Because there's a difference in culture from combat sport to combat sport, isn't there?
There is, but I think the one thing you always have to do, regardless of how much you want to put behind your voice, you always want to make sure it's audible, that people understand what you're saying. I think the mistake some ring announcers may make is that by screaming or overdoing it, the fans can't even understand what they're saying. So there's nothing wrong with putting a lot of emphasis behind your words or trying to give it all the excitement you can, but make sure that the fans can understand what you're saying.
Yep, very, very good. And Jump Tube also says, bang!
maybe, just maybe, he'll be able to pull up that upset. Bang!
Yep. And so JD Spades, last question of the night, guys. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to shut us down. We're almost an hour in. And Thomas has to get his beauty sleep. He said, Thomas, what is the most memorable fight or moment you've ever announced? And what made it stand out for you?
Wow.
Great question.
Great. Yeah, that really is a great question. Wow. There's so many that have been special to me, especially my first time working on HBO, my first time working on Showtime, my first time working internationally. All of those, stand out to me so much. But I would have to say the last time I worked Wembley Stadium, Tyson Fury versus Dillian White. Now, I did not do the main event. The great Jimmy Lennon Jr. did the main event that night, but I worked all the way up and did the co-main event. And 94,000 fans. To stand in a ring and look at 94,000 fans was just a pinch me moment. And that's why, and what a great way to end this conversation. I am so excited to be back at Wembley Stadium, and we're supposed to have 96,000. So we're going to break the record of 94,000 on this Saturday, and I just can't wait. So I would say working that event at Wembley Stadium stands out to me as that moment of wow. And Joe, I'm not sure if you can hear me. We may have lost connection.
Sorry about that. I guess Thomas left, I guess. Oh, my word. Guys, can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that, guys. It looks like I'm gonna have to shut everything down. I'm having some technical difficulties with my charger and with my computer, so my apologies, guys. But we'll try to reschedule. Hopefully before Saturday night. Hopefully, maybe after the weigh-in, we can invite Thomas back if he's not too tired. But guys, thank you for being a part of this special presentation with the one and only Thomas Treiber, guys. But guys, on behalf of the incomparable Thomas Treiber, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.